I'm Megan Portsche with High Desert Guardian. Today we're going to be going over how you get into competitive shooting. So USPSA, IDPA, all that good stuff. I'm new to it, so I've been trying to peg Raul down for a little while now, so I'm very excited. I think this will be very beneficial for all of you guys. If you want to move past the basics of, self-defense, this is the next step that is going to get you feeling more than confident with your firearm. So that's why we have Raul here with us today. I think you're gonna like it. So I'm so used to my Glock, but it's not a race gun. It's not a competition gun, right?
Well, this depends what division you're gonna shoot.
Yeah.
The division, like your XC over there, that would put you in open division. That is race gun.
Yeah.
This is my competition gun. It's not considered a race gun. It's just basically a modified over-the-counter gun. Yours, if you wanted to carry optics division, you'd have to take off the mag well, otherwise it puts you in or limited division, which is fine, but then you're shooting against people who are shooting 2011s. One of our highest level shooters, Sam Matt, he's a Grandmaster shooter, and he does everything with a Glock.
Oh, really?
100%. He made Grandmaster with a Glock, yeah.
Nice.
And he beats everybody with his Glock. So it really comes down to training and just training with what you got.
Yep. This is what I'm most comfortable with. I want to become really, really comfortable with my XC, but I haven't gotten a holster for it yet.
If I have a competition gun, you have to have your match gun, then you have to have a practice gun. Then if I'm gonna shoot that in competition, that means I'm gonna be shooting that the majority of the time in practice. So then I need to have a 2011 carry gun, because I'm not gonna, because I can't switch from a Glock to a freaking 2011.
You know what this sounds like? This reminds me of the women's shoe dilemma. You have to have the right shoe for the right outfit, and you can't always cross that shoe over to this other outfit.
All right, we're gonna just work on a basic drill here, and this drill is to get you ready for the type of shooting in USPSA. And what you're gonna see a lot in USPSA is, well, first you're gonna see a lot of paper targets, and you're gonna see a few steel targets. And sometimes they might be some smaller targets. A lot of times the steel targets are a little bit smaller. And so you're gonna be trying to go as fast as you can on these paper targets, and you might have to slow down a little bit to confirm your sights a little bit better, confirm your trigger. So you're gonna slow down just a little bit to get those small targets, and then you're gonna speed up again on the paper targets. And so you're gonna see a lot of that where you're having what we call changing gears, basically how fast that you are shooting, the confirmation level of your sights, like how much do I have to confirm my sights? Does my red dot have to be perfectly still, or can it be moving around on that target? Yeah. And then prep the trigger on a difficult target, or do I need to just, because it's a close enough target that I can just kind of slap the trigger, right? Yeah. So we'll do a little bit of that. So what I'm gonna have you do here is I'm gonna have you face down range here. I'm gonna have you go ahead and make ready. So when you say the term make ready, that typically just means, take your gun out, put your magazine in the gun, rack it, and then put it back in the holster. And that's typically how they'll have you start a stage. So what we're gonna have you do here is I want you to draw, and you wanna draw as fast as you can on this close range target, at least 2 shots to the center mass of the target, which is the A zone. You're gonna transition over to the red steel target, or the orange steel target there. I want you to get 1 shot on that, and then you're gonna go back over to this bigger target, and you're gonna kind of speed up and fire 2 quick shots on this. All right, I'm gonna try to demonstrate this and see how well I can do. I'm gonna shoot 2 on paper, 1 on steel, 2 on paper. And all we're gonna do, some people call this sight picture or attack and control targets. You're basically attacking these bigger targets, kind of controlling your sight picture and your trigger control a little bit more on the small targets. And so that's why they're called attack and control targets. Some people just call it like a throttle control targets as well.
Shooter ready, stand by. Forgot about the delay.
And so you could hear the difference in the cadence of shooting, right? That's what we're kind of listening for here. And so what happens here, what you're looking at here is I got an alpha hit here, And because I was trying to go fast and trying to get to that next target, I'm kind of dragging my sights off and shooting as the gun is moving, which I need to make sure that I shoot one and then I see the sight lift off that second shot before I move over.
Yeah,
but
this is not signature, Raul.
That's not what you want. Right? And then we got 2 alpha over there. But you heard, if you go back and watch the video, you can hear the difference in the cadence of shooting, right?
I love finding a cadence when I shoot. Like, it actually keeps me focused more, but I think it's just because I'm used to working with a metronome as a musician. So if I can lock onto a beat that I know I want to keep, that helps me pace myself. So if I know I have a tendency to just rush way too much, I will, start out in my own practice and think, okay, I know I can hit this one at a tempo of bup, bup, And so I'll think bup, 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 bup. And I'll just keep that locked in my head. And that's what I'll try and do. But
I watched a video of a grandmaster shooter, and he talked about using a metronome to be able to learn how to shoot fast.
Yeah, that's what I've actually really enjoyed using a metronome, because
well, maybe you need to train me on that, because I haven't figured that part out yet.
Yeah, I should have brought my metronome. Actually, I do a really good job keeping a beat myself. 5, 6, 7.
But this is a good way, again, I know we've said it over and over, but again, if you want to get to that next level of shooting, I really think it's important to go out and compete and get into USPSA or IDPA or some, 3-gun or something like that. I just think there's no better way than to get better at shooting than competing.
Yeah, and I'll try to take your advice and not be too intimidated anymore.
It's just fun. Just get out and go have fun. Don't take it too serious.
Yeah.
Ready? Stand by. There we go. Good. Now let's look at this, and we can go by and we'll score it. If you go to your phone, you can download, if you look up a hit factor calculator, you will find an app and it will help you score it. So these were your 2 shots here that you just got, so we would score that 2 alpha. All right, and then we go over to this paper here, and you got Alpha Charlie, and then we got our steel. All right, and it's 3.78. 3.78 was your time, and that gives us a hit factor of 6.08. And so that would go in as your score. All right, so what was the time?
247.
247. Then we had alpha, delta, right? And then over here we had 2 alpha.
Yeah, there's 2 alpha.
And then the steel. So that was an 8.5. The reason why mine is higher is because of the speed aspect, because I shot it faster.
Yeah, because you were like a second faster, because I think I was a 3 something.
Yeah, and this type of shooting, I think speed is going to be always favored a little bit more than just the points, but you got to have both.
Well, and then that's something too I want to touch on, is because if you're anything like me, you're really afraid to miss shots. If you're a perfectionist at all, that can really hold you back, because I just want to make every shot perfect, And you can't do that when you are learning to be faster. Like, if you are pushing yourself the way that you should be pushing yourself, you are going to be missing some shots.
Yeah, especially in practice.
Your shots will not be perfect.
When you get out in practice especially, you got to push yourself and not to be afraid to miss. That way you know what it feels like to miss.
Yeah.
So you can correct your mistakes later. But yeah, so if you're just always afraid to miss, that means that you're over-confirming your sights. You got to understand that, hey, as soon as I see that color red, depending on the size of target, I'm just pulling the trigger.
Yeah, and that is a weakness of mine, is over-confirming my sights sometimes, because I'm like, whoa, don't
I'll go and practice, and I'll be super fast. I'll run a course of fire, maybe in 8 seconds, and then I'll see the same course of fire at a match, and I'm doing it in 10 seconds because I'm slowing down, because I don't want to miss.
Yeah.
But you got to be able to push yourself. So. All right, so what you're going to see in USPSA is you're going to have a course of fire with multiple targets. You might have to go from left to right and then back to center again. And what you're gonna see is you're gonna see a lot of what they call shooting boxes. We got this kind of drawn out in the sand here, and they will require, you can run outside of those shooting areas. If you think, hey, I can take a shortcut and go this way versus this way, you can run out of the shooting boxes, but you have to be inside the shooting boxes when you take the shots. So if this is the edge of my shooting box and I have 1 foot out and 1 foot in, that's considered out, so I'd be getting penalties if I'm shooting here. So I gotta make sure that both feet are inside these boxes.
Yeah, and oftentimes it's like raised like
yeah, it'll be like
thin boards, yeah, a piece of wood. And even if you're like, you can step on that piece of wood, but then if your toe touches down on the outside, that's a penalty too.
We're gonna just work on doubles on this target here on the right.
Okay.
Okay, so you're gonna just, actually this is what I'm gonna have you do. We'll start out from this position here. All right, so the timer's gonna go off, and it's gonna be basically a four round drill, shooting 2 shots at a time. So you're gonna be 1, 2, pause, 1, 2. All right, we're gonna just, basically, they're gonna be hammered pairs. You're gonna shoot as fast as you possibly can, trying to get them all in the A zone. And if your sights are jumping all over the place, or your rounds are not going where you need to go, you need to adjust your grip typically tighter in order to be able to get those shots in there. So it's gonna be something like this. All right, so you hear that? So it's 1, 2, pause, 1, 2.
Yep.
And I'm just shooting as fast as I see that dot bounce inside that A zone. All right, so go ahead and get the gun out. And this will help you so that you can shoot a little bit faster and make sure your grip is good. All right, on the buzzer, ready? Stand by. There you go. Keep the gun up, let's do it again, stand by. So what are you seeing as far as your sight picture? When you see that dot, you just kind of see it in a red flash,
yeah.
Just kind of do that?
Just kind of a flash.
Okay, so just understand that, look at, you're getting them all in the A zone. So,
yeah, I had one
yeah,
in the C,
but just understand it, that's really all you need to see.
Yeah.
So, because you're over confirming your sights, trying to get that A zone hit. And here, you got them all but one, right?
Yeah.
And so typically the reason why you shoot high like that is your eyes start to follow the dot.
Yep.
Instead of staring at a specific point on the target.
Okay.
So find a bullet hole or a piece of tape to stare at, and let's do it again.
Small
Yep.
point. Okay.
And don't follow the dot up. There you go, good. So USPSA, like I say, I like it because especially like the majority of people that I know seems like they want to have a gun at home for self-defense. That's most reason why people come through my classes, because I teach a lot of concealed carry type classes. And I tell people you really need to go out and compete, because that's where you're gonna learn how to shoot under stress. I had a friend of mine he was a special forces guy. He was over in Iraq, and he says they were over there. He goes, we had a lot of shootouts. He goes, we were killing people. He goes, I came home on leave, and one of my buddies like, hey, there's this pistol match, you know, down the road. He goes, let's go down there. He goes, yeah, I was sitting around bored, nothing to do, so I went down there. And he says that they call his name. He goes up to the box and they say, load, make ready. And he starts to, he says he puts a magazine in, racks it, puts the gun in his holster, and he's getting ready to hear the timer go off. And he says all he could feel was like his heart was gonna jump out of his chest. He goes, I was so much more nervous doing that. He goes, than being over in Iraq. He goes, we're over there killing people and getting shot at. He goes, and I'm standing here to shoot pieces of paper. He goes, and my nerves, he goes, he goes, yeah, he goes, man, I got beat by like a 15-year-old girl. And he goes, I'm this special forces dude. He goes, my heart was getting ready to jump out of my chest. And so he told me, he goes, that's why he felt that USPSA type competition was also very valuable for somebody like him who was in special forces.
Yeah, because it'll keep you in that
and I think,
prepared state.
And when you gotta not really think about it, you're just training the gun handling part, right? It's not learning tactics, it's just learning the gun handling. And people need to get away from, oh, I'm there to train to, you know, for this crazy self-defense scenario. Just go out and have fun and just learn how to use your gun, because the fundamentals don't change when you're doing competitive shooting versus in the self-defense scenario. You still have to see the sights correctly, you still have to pull the trigger correctly in order to be able to hit your target no matter what the target is. So don't get all, you know, thinking it's this John Wick thing. Just go out and shoot, compete, and have a good time, and it will translate over to however you can apply those fundamentals.
Yep, yeah, I agree completely. And you learn better and more effectively when you are having a good time. Versus if you are learning out of fear. Fear is what I would call like a caffeinated motivator, you know? Like it gives you enough of a, you know, jolt to maybe get you started and sign up for a class, but then it can kind of fizzle out, okay? Depending on, you know, how you're feeling. And so I think it's better to get into this just as a fun sport, because that's what it is. And chances that you're ever going to have to use it for self-defense, thankfully, are minimal. It's, you know, it's minimal. So learn it as a fun sport. And if you get other friends to come and join you, then it's gonna be even more enjoyable. All right, so I hope that you got enough out of today's episode, that you are inspired to check out the USPSA website, place you can go to get started and find local matches near you, and take a friend with you. It makes it all that more enjoyable. So learn it, train it, own it.